So today's video is going to be a quickie for people who, like me, saw this random leak of these Charlotte Tilbury 9-pan palettes that were unlike anything she'd ever done before packaging-wise, and it needed a few questions answered. So I wanted to get this up for you guys because I was the same. And today, it popped up in PR, I got two of these beauties. Now, these are called the Beautifying Eye Trends palettes. Not too much information out there. From what I see, this is from Trend Mood's Instagram page. There's going to be 6 different of these guys, and they're going to be limited edition. They're going to be launched February 13th, and they're going to be $60. And I think most people are raising their eyebrows at the $60 price point because even I have to admit, this packaging is not very Charlotte Tilbury-esque. So of the 6 shades being launched, luckily I got my hands on 2, Super Neutral and Digital Lilac. So before I dive into these, there's also Emerald Effect. Now that's the one. Well, hold on. Let me screen record here real fast. Let's hop on over to Instagram so you can see. Okay, so here's the post. So you'll see the 6 palettes, $60, a limited edition, February 13th, and will be available at Sephora. But let's take a look at the colors, especially the ones I don't have. So we have this blue one here. What's the name? Denim Dimension. That's one that I would have no interest in picking up at all because I just don't like blues on myself very much. But, okay, I think we could have used an even darker navy, but whatever. There we go. Then we have, this one is Digital Lilac. I'm going to be featuring that in today's video. I like this demo here that we have. This is the one where, like, if I like these, I might actually purchase this Emerald Effect one. It's right up my alley. It looks neutral, but you still have those green pops that look stunning. We have Pink Love. This is just another Pillow Talk palette, so I personally would not have been interested in this, but it's gorgeous. I complain about pink palettes, but I wear them. I wear my pinks, so I probably would like that one. But I do have a lot of pinks from Charlotte Tilbury already. This one, Sensual Sunset, that's all right. It's just a random neutral palette. This is one that I definitely would have purchased, so I'm really, really happy that I got my hands on Super Neutral. We have some neutral, natural tones here. I'm excited to get this one on the eyes. Look at that look. So those are the ones that are coming out. Like I said, I have Digital Lilac and Super Neutral. And I was like looking there, it's not on the website yet. But I will say, even though these are slated to be released February 13th, a lot of times, specifically on the Charlotte Tilbury website, they have an early launch. So make sure you have my notification bell on, and I'll let you know when those launch if you're interested in buying them after this review. I don't even know how it's going to go yet. Also, Sephora a lot of times has Rouge early access as well. So make sure you're keeping up with me if you want to keep up with this. And I mean, this was all that came in the box. There really is no additional details here other than these 2 guys. So I'm going to take you to the close-ups, the swatches. You'll get a closer look at the packaging. I'm excited to give you guys a close look at the packaging because I know after seeing the leaks, that's what I was most curious about. So this is the box it's going to come in. It still has a window here. And it has details, very wordy as Charlotte Tilbury normally is, and the weight. And then the back of the palette has ingredients, 18-month shelf life, which is very good. I don't see made in right here. And then here you have a clear view of the 2 palettes that I have. So it is a plastic cover with the Charlotte Tilbury logo here. And then the back, you'll see that the palette is made in Italy. And then it has the finishes of the shades here. It doesn't look like there's any names. It really is the formulations, which I'm fine with. So take a look here. This is plastic. It doesn't feel heavy. I don't know. I was holding off on maybe if, you know, the Charlotte Tilbury is a luxury brand, this would be a little heavier. This would be glass-like. Now, this is very functional for makeup artists, but I mean, Charlotte Tilbury is not targeting makeup artists here. This is for the public. And if you aren't familiar with her previous packaging with eyeshadows, just to give you an idea of what we were working with before, she's had obviously different packaging styles, but her big 12-pan palettes used to be like this in a long format, and then as you can see, she would do 4 separate looks here. I liked the packaging of these, so I have a few that are like this. Different designs, different colors, but that's the shape that we would get. And this is also plastic though, so it's not like this is some heavy Pat McGrath packaging. Really strong magnet in this one. And then I think the packaging of this one is so much more romantic. Like, this is what I love about Charlotte Tilbury, this style of packaging. And it's still like a 9-pan palette, snap closure. To me, this is even nicer with the designed front, but you know, it's not like super expensive feeling either, to be fair. And then the cheapest of cheap packaging before this year, she did this one, and this one's even a little fancy. Normally it's just plain, it doesn't have these designs, but her eyeshadow quads, you know, they're nothing to write home about either. So, in my head, when it comes to Charlotte Tilbury, she has really nice packaging, but looking historically at her eyeshadow palette packaging, they're nothing amazing, but they are nicer. And I want to be clear, I like a clear top. I love that I can see the colors. Functionally, I'm into it. It's just with a Charlotte Tilbury price point, drugstore brands have packaging like this, so this should be reflected in the price because I'm sure this is not expensive packaging to create. So it's more so the principle. Like I said, functionally, I actually very much like this. But you know, the markup in the makeup industry, it is crazy for these big brands, what they'll mark their prices up to. So I just, ethically, this should not be too expensive based on the packaging. It feels sturdy, whatever, but it is plastic at the end of the day. It has a snap closure, no mirror. Yeah. But I can look past that if the quality of this turns out to be amazing. We'll see. Now, this is super neutral, which is definitely gorgeous, right up my alley. I love neutral shades. I love what this palette is giving. So let's swatch the top row here. We have a Diamond Dimension and then 2 matte silk colors, which feel quite buttery. Even the Diamond Dimension felt nice. Here goes nothing. Diamond Dimension, very pretty. Doesn't feel like there's going to be a lot of fallout. Super silky. Okay. These first 3 I'm happy with. And you know, I don't press very hard into my swatches just to see how these would apply. So we have 2 matte silk shades, and this middle shade is a crystal chrome formulation. These feel very thin, and not in a bad way, just in a silky way. Okay, oof, wow. This has more of a base to it comparing it to the diamond shade, but it still has some reflex in there. I mean, okay, thank goodness these are swatching stunning. And then we have 2 more matte silks and then another diamond dimension shade. Wow. Okay, yummy. I am very, very happy with the feeling of the quality of these and how they're swatching and looking, so I can't wait to get this on my eyes. Now here's Digital Lilac. We have a couple different formulations here in the Super Neutrals palette. We have a Diamond Dimension, which was in the first palette, a matte silk shade, and then here's a new one, a Crystal Pop, which has a harder press to it. It feels not as silky. Wow, look at that. Let's see, let's see. Here's that Diamond Dimension shade. We have some reflex of purple, pink, a little bit of blue there. That's stunning. And this one's nice and pigmented. These can be hard to formulate. I'm on that one. It's not as silky as the other shades that I've swatched, but I'm sure it's pretty on the eyelid. Now, this middle row here are all molten satin shades. So let's see. They feel really creamy. And I feel like a lot of pigment is picked up from them. Now, in the past, Charlotte Tilbury has had creamier shimmers than these, but I think the days of those formulas and palettes are long gone. This is definitely the new era. These don't swatch as pretty as they felt on the fingers, but they're still very nice. And then the last row here is all matte silk shades, which truly feel so silky. Now, this palette, I feel like it's swatched with less dimension than I anticipated for some reason. Not bad at all, but it's softer. I feel like these are gonna have a softer application on the lid. Very pretty. I feel like we could have used a little bit more varying purple shades in here, maybe. Like some of these look kind of close, right? I mean, I'm looking really hard into it. That might not be the case on the eyes, but you know me, I'm picky. But this still does look very pretty nonetheless. It's a little bit more of a rosy purple. I would love to have seen like a little bit more of this color family in this guy here. But that is Digital Lilac. With all that being said in the swatches, this is the last statement I'm going to make about the packaging here. I like the packaging. I think it's functional. It was that price point that I was worried about if she had reduced it, but now seeing that it's $60. Let's look at the prices of her other palettes. So the 4-pan palettes are $55, and this palette packaging is nothing to write home about. So actually for only $5 more, you get more shades, but it's a matter of quality, right? I've always thought a lot of these were very good quality, but not all of them. But this is a worse value, and I was not shy to purchasing these, and it always hurt my wallet, but obviously I was not fazed if you saw my collection of it, so I have no right to complain. The 9-pan palettes. Now, the Beautyverse palette, this one I have in my hands, and I think it has to do with the formulas, was $75, so that's $15 more than these new palettes. But the Pillow Talk Beautyverse Love palette in this year's collection for the holidays, $69. So the price went down for that, and I do believe that has to do with the formulations in there. So for it being Charlotte Tilbury, I honestly don't think the price point is that bad, and I think there is a price reflection in the packaging, so I am less enraged, absolutely. Charlotte Tilbury is expensive. If you're buying the makeup, you're going to pay a premium price point, and you're not getting a premium experience with this particular style of palette. But not all of our packaging is always premium, and I've paid the price point for them anyways. So after doing that research, I'm gonna shut up. I'm complaining to complain, but yeah, it's $60 for non-luxury packaging here, but it's functional, and you can decide if that's what you want to spend money on or not. Totally understand both sides of the argument here, but I am excited to get these on the eyes because they swatched kind of incredible. So let's see. This is where we're really gonna get talking here. Luckily, they sent over 2 palettes, and I happen to have 2 eyeballs. So I think I'm gonna start off with Digital Lilac, which, looking here, being the picky person that I am, my one thing is I feel like some of the tones are a little close to each other. I don't know, it's something about it I'm not head over heels for, but let's just get it on the eyes. This is personal preference. I have to use this lilac shade right here. I have to. I am the ultimate judge of lilac shades because they are tough. Let's see. Beautiful. Silky. I love the feeling of the mattes in this palette. They all feel incredible. So I'm hoping they apply incredible as well. I think Charlotte Tilbury's eyeshadow palette launches just have changed as we know it. We're never going to get those old style palettes that I loved. Those like long ones. Oh, God, my nose is itching. Okay, so that's stunning. Let's see this one. Right next to it, is there a difference in tone? Absolutely is. This one is clearly more pink. Always a good test to see if 2 shades that could potentially read similar on the eyelid, they look different next to each other, and they totally do. Let's build up some depth here. Since I am experimenting, excuse me, going through puberty. Since I am experimenting here, don't expect the prettiest look of all time. I'm trying to slap on colors to see how they blend, layer, apply. Gorgeous. We wipe off this brush. The final shade, our final active depth here for the mattes. I mean, these all go really well together, and I feel like they each have a place in this palette, so I'm actually very, very happy with the mattes here, and with there being 5 mattes. It's hard to tell the differences because my eyelid space is kind of small, so I can only do so much. Typically, we're not working with this many mattes in such a small area of my eye. I'm blending them all together. I'm reapplying this lilac shade. I mean, this is my difficult eye. This is the one that normally, if it were to look unblended, it would happen here. And I gotta say, I think that looks gorgeous. Let's get into the actual eyelid. I mean, the problem is there's 3 satin shades here, but I want to use the diamond shade the most. So, how do I want to go about this? Let's use this shade, because I do need to play with these satins. Actually, I'm going to use a brush. We'll put this on the outer half of the eyelid. We're definitely going to have to do a follow-up with these palettes. Gorgeous application. Really very minimal fallout. We're adhering to the lid nicely. This is that beautiful multi-dimensional diamond shade. I mean, that's gorgeous, is it not? Stunning. And I feel like the mattes didn't disappear too much. Using this satin shade along the lower lash line. Seeing that how that plays down here. Why is it focusing on the wrong eye? Definitely more sheer than the matte, but gets the job done. And then last plan of action here. Let's reapply this matte. I mean, I did like a very simple eye look that you would expect to get out of this. And I think it turned out nice. Put a little pop here. With the name being Digital Lilac, I would think that the color story would lean a bit more lilac-y than other than these two. But would I? I don't know. I like this. That's the answer. I like this. Let me wash my brushes and let's get into super neutral. Let's see how this cream does against my skin tone. It is lighter. That's amazing. And I'd imagine with a denser brush, you could probably get some pigment here. You sure can. This is really, oh, whoops. This is really good to brighten up this area here. See, I feel like this one is really great because there's more variety. The shades are a little bit more different to one another. So I think that really expands the amount of looks that you can do. I'm gonna stick in my comfort zone here. If my blush looks bad, I tried on a blush that was really bad today. It broke up my foundation underneath. That's a problem with being a makeup reviewer. Some people will probably think I can't do my makeup. But no, I swear, I'm testing bad makeup. It's not me, it's the product. You see how that got patchy right here? I did have some funny things going on with my eye primer though. So I wonder if that is the reason. I'm gonna take this off and then put on the one shade and then try that again. Okay, let's try this again because I so desperately want this shade to be good. And I was having problems with my eyeshadow primer because it got stuck and I couldn't get it out. And so then I let the eye primer sit on my eye and then it got chunky. So I think the eyeshadow was sticking to it. Yeah. It looks smooth, right? Or am I crazy and there's a patch right here again? Right? You guys see that right here? But I feel like it's me because the other mattes were so lovely. So I'm going a little deeper. These are really nice and cool. Or I guess neutral. But there's definitely some gray in there. This color story definitely speaks to me. Yeah, the mattes in this palette are harder to blend. They totally are. I can get it done, but I am going back and forth. Strange. Why my face look disgusted? It's not one of those formulas, at least in this palette, that is blending itself, right? It can be blended, but I must put in the time. Versus a really good luxury formula, you place it down and it kind of disperses and blends itself. That's what a lot of the Dior shadows, no, the YSL shadows, I feel like those do that. This one, like, I use my Milani eye primer, but it's never been an issue before. I'm getting there. It's blended. She's flabbergasted. Truly. Put the gray right here. This one. Did you see I went for that? That's interesting, because normally neutral shades are super easy to get right for brands, and it's the purples that are difficult. And it's not even bad, it's just not perfection. This shade right here is so disgustingly up my alley. This is one of the Diamond Dimensions. Ugh. Honestly, I feel like it doesn't matter if the mattes are unblended. You cover it with this shade and it's gorgeous. This shade alone just made the palette. That's crazy. And then I just want to try this diamond shade. Now this is one that sheers, so it should be able to make the look sparkly, but oh my gosh, actually that built up really strong. I don't really see skin underneath. I'm having mixed feelings about this palette because it's like stunning. Like, tell me this is looking gorgeous. Okay. Get a matte under here. I think I'll pick up that green palette when they launch. Then we'll get it nice and smoky. There's one word I have to describe these palettes and my feelings after these first impressions. Let me put on some mascara and I'll be right back. Well, it's definitely a different launch for Charlotte Tilbury, to say the very least. I just popped on some mascara because I'm actually going to take this off and I'm going to try these again and with other looks for TikTok, so make sure you're following me over there, or Instagram as well, and I'll share those experiences as I continue to test these guys out. I have mixed feelings about these. Like, I like the packaging, but it's not Charlotte Tilbury-ish. I don't think $60 for Charlotte Tilbury is bad. I really like the diamond formulation in particular in these palettes. I think they are gorgeous. The mattes were oddly amazing in Digital Lilac and oddly a little difficult to blend out in Super Neutral. I don't really know what that's all about. I'm hoping this was maybe a fluke or something, but that normally doesn't happen with good quality eyeshadows, you know. I don't have a bad time. And it's just crazy because I had a harder time working with these, but this look for Super Neutral is so up my alley. I love, love, love this color story. Now, Charlotte Tilbury has kind of grouped color families together before for her palettes, but this one, she like really went hard with that theme, and I think that it's really fun. It's like the ColourPop palettes, but a lot more expensive, you know? This is definitely not a launch where I'm like, you need to run out and get this if you have any interest, because sometimes I do say that like with 100% confidence and saying like, you need it, I love this right away, I could tell right away, and I just don't have that feeling with these. I don't think they're bad, I think they're pretty, I think they have their pros and cons, and unfortunately that leaves you with the responsibility of deciding if these are for you or not. So let me know your thoughts about these in the comments. Overall, I like them, I don't love them, but I do plan on continuing to use them and test them, and I will keep you guys updated because it was only my first impressions, and I did want to get a quickie on out there for you guys because this was like the ultimate, I just need to see these in person and see how they work and all of that. So that was the point of this. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. What do you think 2025 has in store for Charlotte Tilbury? Because she was a little quiet in 2024, so I'm interested to see. And I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend. Bye.
It's delicious.